Hey there, dolls. I know it's been some time, but I am here today to bring you what are my 2023 most anticipated games of the year. This is just a small selection of what is to be coming out later. There, of course, are going to be more games announced. There's probably some that I'm forgetting as well. I just really wanted to get this out nice and quick for you. So let's get going. So starting off first, we got Infinity Nikki. This is from the same people who make the Dream Nikki mobile games, Dress Up Nikki, that sort of thing, where basically you are in an open world environment where you can make your own little town, I think you can do so, and doing, mostly what are associated with cozy game activities. And of course, I know some of you are like, really, you're looking forward to this game? It looks like some girly chick game. It's like, yeah, it is a girly chick game, and I am looking forward to it. But guess what? It's also being helmed by one of the people who directed Breath of the Wild. Funny that. Also, speaking of Breath of the Wild, we got Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom coming out for the Nintendo Switch, and what is slated to be the last big Switch game. So it looks like that Nintendo might be moving on to making another console, but I really think they should probably make a, stick to the Switch, because that is a really great little handy little console there, and I wouldn't abandon such a design like that. That being said, Tears of the Kingdom looks to be kind of bringing back a little bit of a darker edge here. I have purposely kept myself in the dark in terms of the story. I do know that Link and Zelda, they go exploring and spelunking and discover some dark secrets, and Link gains a new prosthetic arm that allows him to fly up to what I think is the Skylands that we saw in Skyward Sword. I don't know. Nintendo has in fairly recent years gotten much more serious about the Zelda lore overall, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Tears of the Kingdom brings this time. Gotta, mention the game that was inspired by Breath of the Wild, and that is Elden Ring. But not Elden Ring the main game, we're talking about Elden Ring DLC. There's a lot of things they can do with Elden Ring and this upcoming DLC. I don't know what exactly it is going to be about. Are we going to see more of Miquella? Because Malenia, when we defeat her, we don't get the usual, legend felled, prey slaughtered, that sort of thing. She just has a line, and then that's it. You get some gear, though. You get a remembrance. Is Malenia, in Miquella's dream? Because it seems like there was an aspect of dreams that was cut from the final version of the game, and that's something that could be explored in DLC, but there's a whole bunch of more things they could go in on about, like Godwyn, when he was Godwyn the Golden and not the Prince of Death. There's just so much to do, and I really love the lore of Elden Ring. I really love the world building of From Software games, so I really want to see more story DLC from Elden Ring. And while we're talking about Elden Ring, let's move on to Lies of P. This game looks like to be very much inspired by Bloodborne, but it is based off the story of Pinocchio, and it's rather funny because Pinocchio has been in sort of the public consciousness as of late, but with there being so many adaptations of the story, this one we kind of see a very different take. It is, much, it's dark, what else is new? But it's more steampunk, and we got a Pinocchio that's kind of like a cute teenage boy, which is not normal, but, and if I'm not going to get Bloodborne 2 or a Bloodborne remake, remaster, whatever, might as well check out Lies of P. We also have the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. I still believe in it. Please Ubisoft. The reason why you have Assassin's Creed is because of Prince of Persia Sands of Time. It's so good, and I really want to play this remake. Slitterhead is up next. I don't think this one has a definitive release date, but it is speculated to be coming out later this year. This is the game that is from the same director who directed the very first Silent Hill game, as well as Siren, which was a series that's much more popular in Japan than it is abroad, but I still really love it. It's very hard, but it's really good. As well as Gravity Rush, which is very different. But Slitterhead is also looks a little bit more generic, horror, survival horror, what we're kind of come to expect from a lot of people. But at the same time, he has some very interesting ideas that have been, Silent Hill is probably the big one, but, as someone who also loves Siren, can't wait. He loves the letter S. Yeah, I have nothing else to say about that. He loves his S's. Sticking to horror, we have Bramble the Mountain King. This one is very much inspired by Little Nightmares, which, is adorable. I love Little Nightmares. It's a cute game. It's very dark and twisted. I will admit, I didn't like Little Nightmares 2 so much. It's still a really good game, though. It's still fun. I was just hoping for something a little bit more. Bramble the Mountain King looks to be taking inspiration from that, as well as some Nordic folklore as well. And it looks both very charming and whimsy. It has a very cuteness to it, whereas Little Nightmares was just has a really nice, interesting aesthetic, but it is all doom and gloom, especially for these kids. But that doesn't seem to be the case necessarily in Bramble, but that doesn't mean that the world is safe either. Up next, we have Alan Wake 2. Now, I will be honest, I did not enjoy the first Alan Wake. and I am honestly astonished that it has a fan base so dedicated to it as it does. So at the time, Alan Wake was an exclusive to the Xbox 360. Me, being a PlayStation girl, had to buy a Xbox 360 in order to play Alan Wake. Alan Wake is not a game worth buying a console for. So yeah, I was a little bit bitter about it because it's like, I bought this console for this schlock. And there's something that's masturbatory about writing a story about a writer. I don't know, like, there are Alan Wake fans. It's a game that I have considered going back to just sort of see if maybe my opinion on it will change and be different now. So then why am I looking forward to Alan Wake 2 when I was so on the first one? Well, I love Control. Control was amazing. I love the world building and the potential that Remedy Games has brought into the world of Control, and Alan Wake is of course now tied to Control. So if I'm going to be getting any more Control anytime soon, it's gonna be an Alan Wake 2. And that's really what I'm here for. I'm here for this more extensive universe that Remedy seems to be creating because, it's not Control is connected to Alan Wake. Alan Wake is connected to Control. That's how I'm looking at this. And the game that I am most excited for at this moment is the remake and the fourth entry of this well-acclaimed survival horror series, Fatal Frame: Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Okay, so this one comes with quite the story. So, after the PlayStation 2 era, Koei Tecmo decided to develop the next Fatal Frame entry for the Nintendo Wii. They developed this alongside Grasshopper Studios, that's Suda51's gaming company, and Nintendo also helped out a bit as well. The thing is though, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse never saw a release outside of Japan. It didn't even make it all the way to Europe, which another game for the Nintendo Wii was the remake of Fatal Frame 2, Deep Crimson Butterfly. But part of why it wasn't released overseas was because the game was unfortunately a little bit broken. Now you could play the main game with no problem and finish it just fine. However, if you wanted to unlock everything, well, you were incapable of doing so. There was a bonus item that would unlock if you completed your ghost list. The thing is, there were some entries on the ghost list that were broken. Essentially, no one wanted to pay to fix it, because if they wanted to develop a patch to fix that, someone would have to put forth the money to do it, and no one wanted to do that, so it stayed on Japanese Nintendo Wiis. So overseas fans of Fatal Frame were unfortunately out of luck when it came to the fourth entry. Now, there was a fan translation that was developed, but you could only use it if you had 1, a Japanese Nintendo Wii, or 2, you homebrewed your Nintendo Wii. It wasn't terrible. I have a Japanese Nintendo Wii, so I was able to get it to work that way. But what I really wanted was a localized version of Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. So hopefully this localization version will be superb and stellar, and I am gonna get it day one. I might stream it on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/nerd.doll. What sort of has me upset is that I don't feel like Mask of the Lunar Eclipse is getting any attention whatsoever from gaming websites and from, well, there probably are some fans who are very excited for it, but it isn't getting as much attention, and part of that is because it comes out 2 weeks before the Resident Evil 4 remake does, which I am also looking forward to. I'm just not gonna get that one first because I've been waiting 15 years to play a localized version of Fatal Frame: Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Resident Evil 4 remake, you know, is one of those things that I don't think is very necessary, but it does look really, really good, and not Konami, sorry, I'm thinking Silent Hill here, but Capcom does care about Resident Evil 4. They're of course going to take care of their baby here. They're going to make sure that the remake is on the level, or if not above, the Resident Evil 2 remake. They're not going to do a Resident Evil 3 remake here. The thing is, I played the original Resident Evil 4 to completion for the first time in 2016, but Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, I've been waiting 15 years, so it makes sense that I would get one over the other first. So thank you for sticking around to see what games I am looking forward to this year. What games are you looking forward to this year? I'm sure you probably have some that I didn't even cover. There are, of course, going to be more announcements as the year goes on, so let me know what you think in the comments, and please give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you all very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. You've been a doll.